Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be reviewing and using the new James Charles Morphe collaboration. Everybody is talking about this. If you follow me on Instagram, which you should, you would know that this is literally the only collab I've ever purchased besides Jaclyn Hill's Champagne Pop. I don't typically buy collabs, not because I don't support people, but because I'm probably like you and have limited funds, and I'm not going to buy something regardless if somebody on YouTube that I like created it if the product doesn't appeal to me or isn't something that I think I'll actually use in my day-to-day life. I like James Charles fine. Didn't really have a major opinion about him before this collab was coming out, but I've actually learned that I actually really do like his content, but since then, what appealed to me about this collab was that I actually think this is one of the smartest palettes I've ever seen. Let's get into it, but before we start, like this video with a thumbs up, subscribe below if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell if videos like this appeal to you. This is my only way of really knowing if the content I'm putting out is appealing to you and what I should do more of. Let me know down below what you'd like to see from me and this channel. This is the only way that my channel really does grow and find more people, as if you like, comment, and subscribe. So let's do all that and then get started. So I really like, first of all, the box that this comes in, this like very iconic looking image of James with a very amazing dramatic look that I wish I could pull off, and maybe one day I will be brave enough to wear. The Morphe X James Charles in white. And then the back says, "Hi sisters, James Charles here and welcome back to my palette." Like you too, which is so funny. I love glam, but I also have a huge passion for crazy, colorful, outside-of-the-box makeup, and I created this palette with that in mind. I included every beautiful formulated shade necessary to create literally any look you could possibly imagine. I can't wait to see what you come up with when you unleash your inner artist, James Charles. I just think that's really cool and exactly why I bought the palette, so good job, James. Amazing idea, amazing marketing, all of that. So I literally have had this on my hands for a while and just have not opened it because I really wanted to open it in front of you guys. Comes in a nice little protective case, which I appreciate. And here is the palette. To pray for whoever that firefighter is going to, because here in LA it's been crazy with the fires. So I'm not going to get annoyed. I'm going to pray for whoever that fire truck is for. Okay, first of all, I love this packaging with the matte cardboard thing with these fancy little signature in, you know, a shiny material. I did not love the old plastic hard cases that Morphe used to put out, which is the last time I bought anything from them. Actually, in my Morphe review from when Morphe literally dropped on the market, like in terms of it becoming hugely popular, I did a whole review on it. It's the highest viewed video on my channel. But back then they were hard plastic, and this is nice cardboard. And on the inside is the plastic cover with all the shade names, which I like. I wish it's just easier if you put the shade names underneath the colors, but I guess that's more expensive. And it just says "Unleash Your Inner Artist" in this black matte. It looks so nice and sleek right now. I know this is going to get beat to shit later after I use it. But what I really love about the palette and what made me want to buy it in the first place is that I really truly believe what he wrote on the back of the box, and that this is a palette for everyone, and this is a palette for like your one-stop shop, which I don't have a single palette that's like that. I've been looking for colorful palettes for when those moments come up where I want to do something more colorful, and I just really appreciated that these appeared to be true to color. Like what was true in the pan is like what you're going to get. What you see, what you're going to get is pretty hard to find when it comes to really deep colored eyeshadows. But I loved that these top two rows were designed for like a more everyday glam look, and the bottom was every color you could possibly want. And then I truly think it's genius that the big pans are all ones that are going to be the colors that you will most likely use the most. And then when you run out because you hit pan and you're using it the most, if it's a regular traditional size, it's very frustrating because you pretty much render that palette useless and you have to go somewhere else for that type of shade, which is very frustrating. So I think that's genius. So I really want to do something colorful today, but first I want to swatch all of the shades for you, and I will do that in one moment. Okay, so the colors from right to left are Canvas, Ring Light, So Good, 518, Rusted, Halloween, Wig, and Tea. And these are not heavy swatches. I went over the first 4 shades twice just because I didn't feel like I gave them the same kind of pressure as I swatched them in the pan as the other shades. So I just wanted to have them all like at the same pressure, but they weren't necessarily 2 double swatches, if that makes sense. These first two are kind of hard to see. Hopefully you can make those out. That's the first row. Really gorgeous, very creamy, very blendable, very pigmented in my opinion so far. The second row, again, I'm going from right to left on the palette, but left to right on my arm. So first, this light brown is Punch Me, Sister, is that metallic, Mary, Literally, You're Kidding, which is literally what I said when I swatched it, which is appropriately named because that's like the most red I've ever seen in a palette. Then we have Shook, Boutique, and Benny. Benny is such a dark brown that it almost looks black. So now we have those shades that are the big pans in the palette. We have Flashback, Face, Tune, Code James, 10% off, No Beans, and Spooky, and that's going from this way to this way. I feel like these are going to be the most commonly used shades. I think they all swatch really well. The white's pretty white, even on me, which is saying something. I feel like some of the browns and blacks are kind of similar in this palette, I will say. But there aren't enough to eliminate that would make it like a 35 palette instead of a 39. So yeah. And then the next shades I just did on the other side of my arm. So these are going to go from left to right on the palette. That is starting with the yellow B, Guac, Hello, Playground, Brother, Artistry, Love That, and Pinkity Drinkity you is here, but you can't even see it. It's very faint, but I can see that being a nice blending shade. But that is the first row of the colorful side. I was like, I'm running out of colors, and then I realized Pinkity Drinkity was here, but I couldn't even really see it. Hilarious. All right, and here is the last row of the palette. Again, we're going from here to here because of how I have to swatch it. I'm sorry, guys. I know that's confusing. So starting with that green, we have Social Blade, Daddy, Cape Cod, Cola, Acapella, Escape, Single, and Skip is that bright pink. This is probably my favorite row to swatch. I'm really impressed with the green and pinks and blues here. Very impressive. Very excited to create a look with this today. I will say there are some shades in the palette that didn't swatch as like impressively, but some shades are just functional in a palette and you need to know that. And I also don't think swatches tell the whole story. It's really all about how it performs on the eye, because I can see I have shadows that swatch beautifully, but when I go to use them, they either are way too blendable and then they just disappear, or just basically the swatch isn't necessarily a huge indicator. So we're going to do a look today and force myself to do something colorful and unleash my inner artist. I'm going to try and do something kind of in like the sunset eye family. I was really tempted to try something green because I really love the way the green swatched in this. And I can do a neutral, glamorous eye any day, but I feel like the real test would be the blendability of the really pigmented mattes. And some of these are actually just pressed pigments, so I heard the blendability can be kind of wah-wah. But let's just see what we can do here. All right, I'm going to take a really fluffy brush to this crease color, to me, well, crease color anyway, right here. I don't have this sheet. Okay, wait. This is when the shade names on the thing would be better, and I'd gladly pay a little bit more for that. It's going to be the shade Tune.
I'm going to blend that into the crease, and then I'm going to take B, the bright yellow, and then put that kind of right below it. So that's this shade and this shade right here. Oh God! Let's see. I don't want to consider this really like a tutorial, but like feel free to like do what I do and see if it make it work for you, if you know what I mean. Alright, I already have concealer on my eyes. He recommended an eye primer, but this is how I normally do it, so that's how I'm going to be testing it because, you know. I also already have a little bit of bronzer in the crease just because that's like a habit of mine. Because I normally do a neutral face. For those of you who follow me on Instagram, I do Instagram stories all the time, and you can see the kind of what my everyday makeup is. If any of you want an everyday makeup routine video, please write that down below. My camera battery died, and I have a spare. Don't know where it is. So I waited a very long time. Where were we? So far, I really like this transition shade, the big pan. It's called Tune. Really enjoying that so far. It's very similar, but like almost a more pigmented version of Peach Smoothie from Makeup Geek, which is my go-to transition shade. I'm gonna take a this is an M433 from Morphe into that bright yellow. I'm gonna bring that slightly lower into the crease. And kind of on the inner corner. So far, so good with this palette, you guys. How many of you purchased the James Charles palette? Let me know down below if you have it. If you have any looks on YouTube or Instagram, let me know. Send them to me in a DM on Instagram. I'd love to see it. This yellow is like kind of more mustardy on the eye than I anticipated, but it might be because of the fluffy brush that I'm using. P.S. If you like this foundation or you want to know about it, it's my favorite foundation of all time. I do have a video coming up on my channel of the brand new favorite foundation of mine from Etude House, which is a Korean skincare brand I discovered while I was in Asia. Okay, I'm going to go in that same brush with a little bit of the leftover yellow onto the shade. Oh God, oh God. Okay, everything's just going to shit. Having this on my lap is not the smartest thing to do. I'm going to go in with the shade 518, which is a pressed pigment. I know that, and apparently once you lay this down, it's kind of hard to blend because of that. So I'm putting it on a fluffy brush and hoping for the best and kind of focusing that on the center of my eye and bringing that kind of all the way up. I'm sure on a packing brush this would be much more pigmented, but oh, never mind. Just like a little bit more product. Do you see that? Never mind. I take back what I said. The pigment is coming out perfectly. Wow, this is. I'm not having to put in a lot of work to see the pigment, which is very exciting because sometimes I try and do this with other shadows and it just, no matter how much I pack in, it does not get to the point where I want it to. Now I'm going to go in with, I don't want to try the red. Do I? I think I'm going to first start with Rusted, and then maybe I'll go into You're Kidding, but I'm going to focus Rusted on the outside portion. Yeah, it's like a little bit more of like a Mai Tai shade. How are you all? I'm going to be away come December 6th. Back on the road, we will be in Cincinnati for most of December, so if you are in the area, please come visit me at the stage door. Let me know you're coming, and hopefully I'll be able to get you backstage. That would be very fun. Love to meet some of you. This look is coming together so awesomely. I'm like really happy. I liked that I picked that shade, what's it called, Rusted, instead of You're Kidding, because it might have been too much. I'm going to take what's left over on this brush because it's so pigmented. I'm kind of afraid. I don't want to go back into the palette. I'm just going to bring what's like left over on this under my eye to kind of start laying some color down. Yeah, this is perfect. I can already tell. I'm really pleased with this palette so far. The shadows are super blendable. Even the pressed pigments, which were like kind of said to be hard to blend, but I'm not encountering that whatsoever. I can sometimes get lazy with brushes and I just like kind of use the same one for everything. And I don't want to do that today, so I'm going to force myself to switch my brush, and I'm going to take the shade Single, which is the light purple in the palette, and not the darkest purple. I want to focus that on the outer V, so we can kind of get like this sort of sunset-y look. I might have to go into Escape, which is the bright purple, but hopefully not. Now the palette is at Ulta as well. For those of you who haven't had it yet, but you want to buy it in store or take a look at it, I believe that now it's at all Ulta stores, so check that out. This is looking really nice, you guys. I'm really happy. Oh, I love how this is turning out. Oh my god, it makes me so like excited to try color. I think with like a wing liner, or maybe even not, maybe just some like darker shadow to anchor this. This could look really awesome. I'm gonna take some of that purple as well and place it on the outer corner of the bottom. You guys, I'm gonna like zoom you in so you can see how this is looking because I'm super stoked. Do you see this, you guys? This is so cool. I love it. I keep looking in the viewfinder because I'm like, this took like 0 effort to blend. Okay, I'm gonna go into the darker shade, the darker purple, which is Escape. Focus this more, even more on the outside, kind of like where I would typically put a black. Do you guys, that just set it off. Do you guys typically buy collabs? Like, what are your thoughts and feelings? Like, I know there have to be some of you like me who it's just a little bit like hard sometimes to like support everyone, even if you really, really want to, you know what I mean? Yeah, that dark purple really set everything off. I might just do some black and stop here, you guys, because I kind of want to quit while I'm ahead. I might re-intensify the orange and the yellow and maybe put like the shimmery shade on the center and call it a day. Guys, I was really prepared to like sit here for a long time and have this be kind of a pain in the ass, to be honest, because normally I don't really work with these kinds of colorful palettes or shades. I just like do a winged liner and like hardly any shadow and call it a day, but this took like hardly any time, which is so nice. I'm gonna pack on that yellow and see how bright I can get it. There we go. Yeah, you just need the right brush. That's much better than the fluffy brush I was using. So that's just user error, not the palette's fault. You guys, I don't even know if I want to do black. I just kind of like how it looks right now. But I will. Just the teensiest bit of black. I'm going to just put that right on the outer corner. Yeah, this black is very pigmented, so you gotta be careful. Sometimes too much black can just like ruin everything. And then this brush just has like nothing on it. I'm just gonna blend everything out. And I'm gonna take a little bit of the shade Ring Light, which apparently is the highlight that you could use as a highlight in this palette too, and put that in the underneath the brow bone and on the inner corner. And then I'm gonna put it on my face as a highlight, and we can see how that works. Ooh, that's really pretty. Very similar to like other highlight shades that I typically like Shimma Shimma from Makeup Geek and Shroom from MAC. They're all kind of like that champagne white. I just realized I didn't do my eyebrows today. Alright, a little bit on the inner corner, blending into that yellow, which is called B. That's appropriate. So it kind of looks more gold when you layer those two, which is useful to know. There's also like a couple of different shimmery golds in the palette, so it's not like you have to create your own shade. I'm taking a light fluffy highlighting brush into the palette in that shade Ring Light and use it as a highlight. He is famous for that ring light photo. Alright, let's see what we got. Do you see that? I already had highlighter on before, but this is just setting it over the top. That is blinding, bitch. I like that you can use that. I wish that was one of the big pans, I'm not gonna lie. Whew, because that is gorge. Yeah, I wish that was one of the bigger pants. That's the one thing I will say about this is I would have taken, well, I wonder if I can use that as a highlighter shade. Am I using the right shade? I think. Yeah, I'm almost positive. But maybe face is also a highlight? Am I insane? I'm gonna try it. I'm pretty sure ring light is the highlight shade, but pretty face on top. That just looks a little too intense, so. I mean, for me, maybe not for y'all. You can see that. I might have to tone that down because that's a little cray-cray. Okay, I'm gonna do some lashes and liner and come right back. Alright guys, so this is my finished look. I just did a wing liner and mascara. I was dead set to use lashes because I just feel like that's the James Charles way. But I'm pretty happy with how my lashes look already, and honestly, I'm about to like take this all off as soon as this is over. So, and I didn't really want to cover up the work that I did. This to me is a perfect example of something full of color and colorful that is still wearable and not like, wow, she really did the absolute most. You can see the look definitely more clearly a little bit closer here. Hopefully you can see all the different colors, and this is bold, but if you put it with a less bold lip, then it should be more wearable for sure. If you're a little bit nervous, which I totally understand. Obviously, the paler you are, it seems sometimes like the less makeup you can wear without it looking like heavy or jarring. Like I'm a little like vampire like right now. I just want to let you see the look. And yeah, my final thoughts on the palette are it's amazing. I thought that it was going to be much harder to blend, but it was super easy. I thought this was going to take me like such a long time to film this tutorial slash try out slash whatever. It ended up taking me no time at all, which was really the most shocking part of it. I really see myself using this palette again and again and again and being inspired by it and trying different things with it and just having it be so sleek and tiny and easy to travel with, which, as you guys know, for me is essential. I just really, really like it. I'm not sponsored. I have no code with Morphe. Use somebody's code for 10% off. I don't know what to tell you. I wish Morphe would sponsor me or give me a code or anything since I've been touting their stuff for nearly 5 years now. Congratulations, James. The palette is awesome, and go out and get one, you guys. If you're even remotely curious, I really recommend it. Well, that does it. If you liked this video and you want to see more like it, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment down below what your thoughts are if you have the palette or what palettes you think I should try, and I will see you next time on my channel. Bye!